It is Wednesday night here in Draft Shark Studios in Rochester, New York, August 24th. Welcome to this particularly special podcast. I'm your host, Matt Schaff. With me, as always, is Jared Smola and Adam Krautwurst. And we are here tonight, boys, because I'm doing my FFPC Main Event draft. It's going to be my one for the night. I know that's not for the night, for the year. I know that's a little bit low for your settings, Adam, but it obviously brings the focus directly on it, makes every pick that much more important.
Yeah, one sounds like a mock draft or something. You're just getting warmed up.
It's a baby.
Come on.
Yeah, this is what we work toward, though. I've got my Draft Sharks War Room synced, so I've got that ready to go. I got the sidebar up here in my FFPC draft room, so I'll be looking at what those guys at Draft Sharks tell me to do with every turn. I've got our FFPC ADP up, so I can see who's likely to get back to me. I'm set, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome for being here. This is like my bedtime, 10 p.m. But here I am, ready to watch your main event draft.
This is usually too for me where I'm thinking like I should probably get ready for bed, even if I don't actually do it. I'm thinking that I should, but you know, it's draft season. You got to make some sacrifices somewhere. And frankly, it's either this or do it in the middle of the day or like dinner time and say, sorry, kids, no time to pay any attention to any of you right now. I got to go draft a team. So, you know, I think
you're more likely to get tired or, you know, drunken drafters at these, 10 p.m. Eastern drafts. This might be the plus EV time slot for these main events.
Let me tell you, my plus EV prep though is I highly recommend going the night before and hanging out at a buddy's house until 1 o'clock in the morning, and then coming home to find one of your kids fell asleep on your side of the bed, so you get to sleep on the couch and have kind of a fitful night's sleep. So that I don't know how about everybody else, but before I sync the War Room, I like to do that. Stay up too late, not get a good enough sleep, and then tear into one of these.
I was up late last night too. I was reliving my college days at an OIR concert, so it was a late night for me too.
Well, what a night!
Yeah. That's just good planning to go into a late night draft.
Yeah, well, let's get serious though, Matt. So you have the 10 pick here. What kind of what's your thought process going into the draft? Knowing where your draft slot is, knowing how these main events play out.
I got to say, I like picking toward the end of round one this year. Picking up top, you can't complain about being in Cooper Kupp, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor territory. But beyond that, I think I'd probably rather be late in the round. Justin Jefferson, I guess, is also in that range of, considering at the top of the draft. But once we get to 4 or 5, I wouldn't mind being closer to the end because I'm getting a better player in round 2. And I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between what I'm considering at 5 and what I'm expecting to be there at 10, especially here on FFPC, where Derrick Henry has been getting into the second round regularly. I like Stephon Diggs more than some other people do. So he's already going to be in my thought process around 10. We're going to have Travis Kelce off the board most likely before it gets to my pick. So that automatically pushes another running back or wide receiver a little further back than he would be in other drafts. So I like the position. I think that Stephon Diggs is certainly a guy that is in my head as a potential first round pick. And then there's that pack of running backs that we just talked about on this morning's podcast where not a whole lot of separation. And I like looking at them because it can even push me toward a receiver if I'm waffling between them, knowing that there are like 5 guys and I just need one of them to make it back to me.
Yeah, I've done probably like 4 or 5 mains already, a couple slows. Oh, I know I did one with you guys. I don't think I've had a pick outside the top 5 or 6. So that'll be, I do have a couple 8, or I have 2 8s and a 10 coming up eventually here. But yeah, I know I like that. I like that strategy. We'll see who falls to you. There's a couple big names in this draft room. Couple of piss boys. They're going to be pissing receivers all night long, and you know who they are. And off to the races. There we go.
Sound. Beautiful.
There we go.
It gets me going even when it's just like 8 a.m. and a slow draft is restarting. But now, for my fast draft in the main event, it's even better. Now I have to wait and see how long it takes to get to the 10 spot. But like I said, got the draft war room synced up, so it's taking the players off for me. I've got the sidebar that's brand new this year and does appear on the FFPC draft room, so I don't even have to click away from the draft room to see who Draft Sharks says that I should take as my turn comes up. We are 2 picks in so far. We just had Justin Jefferson go ahead of Cooper Kupp. And guys, that's like becoming ADP now. I know it is ADP on Underdog. I don't know for sure on FFPC yet, but Jefferson over Kupp is getting to be the norm lately.
Is it because of Stafford's elbow? Is that the reason? Wow, Diggs at 4.
Oh, baby. Boy. Oh, baby. Wow. Someone's going to get cut. I think it's because people are starting to realize that maybe Jefferson is probably going to be in that Cooper Kupp role, and he's, he might be more talented than Kupp. He's up there. And so people, and it's a lot of high volume players. I just want to, if they get multiple picks, like the other night I picked 2 in a main, and I was going to go Christian McCaffrey, and he went 1, so I went Justin Jefferson at 2 because I already have Cooper Kupp. I'll get some more Cooper Kupp. So in the first round, you kind of want to vary it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Jefferson might be in the Cooper Kupp role, but do you know who's definitely in the Cooper Kupp role?
Cooper Kupp.
Yes.
Great guess.
I think it's a little what is it? Fancy play syndrome. I get if you want to diversify and get some Jefferson, but if I have one draft, it's still Kupp over Jefferson for me.
Yes,
that's where I'm at. It's Kupp ahead of Jefferson for me, but if I'm picking between them a bunch of times, it won't be Kupp every time because I certainly do like Jefferson. I think part of it is people want to have it be Jefferson, so the Stafford thing helps that. It gives them a reason. Jefferson's obviously very good, so we all expect big things. Oh, there's that sexy voice. I'm up next. Travis Kelce is off the board. We had Jamar Chase go off the board as well. I'm on the clock.
Oh, you love that. You love seeing
I'm looking at running back here. We've got several of them. We've got Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift, Joe Mixon, all high in the draft room. I mean, I could take any of those guys, and I'm not sure that there's a downside to them. We've got Derrick Henry at the top of the DS board, just ahead of Barkley, though, and they're all close. Those 2 and Dalvin Cook are separated by 11 total DMVP points as I look at it.
So Henry's popping ahead because ADP says he's less likely to be there in the second. Is that the reason why?
Probably.
Maybe. Yeah, this is an interesting thing to kind of what you were talking about earlier, Matt, and go ahead and think it through as I talk here. But I mean, you could also, like, if there's a receiver that you really want that is not going to make it back to you, you could go receiver and then grab one of those running backs that are so close together in the second half, in the top half of the second round. But yes, thank you for making the right decision.
That's the right pick. There was a right pick there, and that's it.
Saquon Barkley.
I have to admit it's tough because I don't hate Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook, but Saquon's just been kind of my guy through this off season. He was especially so back early when we could take him in round 3. Still so all the way through round 2, and now this is the range where he belongs. So like I thought that he should have been around this area to begin with, so I don't feel like I'm losing value by now taking him around there. And obviously, so the question on him is, does the offense stink so bad that it hurts Saquon Barkley, or no, that's the question on him. The other side of that is there's so little pass catching competition relative to some other guys. Maybe he just beats up Derrick Henry on the reception upside. So, it was close to a coin flip, but I ended up going with the guy that we all like very much.
And Adam, would you say probably less than 50-50 chance that he makes it back to Matt in the second round at this point? I mean, it seems like Barkley's, going in the late first, the very early second, most drafts at this point.
Yeah, that's that. If you want Barkley, you have to take him there. I mean, I like him ahead of Najee and right up there with Eckler as it is. So even based on value, it's fine. And especially with guys, Cook, Swift, all those guys probably maybe would have taken Barkley there.
Guys, I won't give away the name because I don't know if he would want me to, but the guy picking at 12 is a Draft Shark subscriber, so he would have absolutely taken Barkley.
Oh yeah.
And so now we've got Mixon and Derrick Henry topping the board here. Another pair of players I like.
What about Andrews? I think he has to be in consideration, right?
I mean, he's not really that close in DMVP. I'm okay with waiting past Andrews because I like the tight ends for several more turns beyond this.
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going tight end here. It's really Derrick Henry or Joe Mixon for me.
Oh boy, the Draft Sharks favorite. The Draft Sharks favorite. But yeah, this is interesting. I mean, this is a good point. It's the reason why I like the 1-2 turn. There's just so many different ways to build, so many different options, especially if you like I like Swift, I like Lamb. If Adams falls, fine. Cook never falls that far, but okay, that'd be great. Like there's so many different ways to build there.
The big dog.
The big dog. Derrick
Henry.
I
think the thing that just finally pushed it is we're into round 2. It feels like every year. It's only the third. This will be the 4th year of him as their lead back, I think. It's always seems like time to fade him, and then you do, and then it hurts you. So I figure in round 2, it's late enough for it to make sense. I don't know. I could have gone either way between him and Mixon, and if I had the decision to make again, I would probably go the other way just to mix it up.
Yeah, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, to get the different.
Yeah, I don't mean I'm already second guessing it. I mean I would.
That's right. That's right. How funny.
Kelsey Andrews.
There it is. Bully boy tight end.
Do we have numbers on how that works in this format, Adam?
The it's not the ROI. What's the word I'm looking for? The advance rate isn't the win rate, and the advance rate isn't great with tight end, which is why I've kind of avoided it. And I always feel like I'm chasing whenever I go tight end. I always feel like I'm chasing it at other positions, but I don't watch it. I love bully tight end. I've gone Kelsey Goddard. I've gone I would go Kelsey Pitts in the right situation if I had to, especially if Pitts fell to like the 3rd. But Andrews, I think there's enough question marks around Andrews' ceiling with him with Lamar. He had better stats without Lamar than he had with Lamar. So, but I'm fine with Andrews, but I don't think I would take him if I already had Kelsey.
My only question on Andrews is, do the Ravens throw the ball significantly less this year? I think we would. We certainly haven't projected for a drop. The question is, how much do they drop off? And I don't know. And I just think that he's going early enough that if I take him there, I'm betting that they don't drop off too much. And I think that adds some risk to it. Maybe there's a little bit of hidden bias in there of I missed on him last year. Now he's going much earlier. So I'm not going to chase that missing out last year by taking him where I've taken this year. I think it's a fair range for him to be going. He was close to there in our Draft Sharks rankings as I got to that turn, but wasn't at the top of the board. And we've talked a lot about tight ends. I like what I can get later in the draft. So I felt like I would have been chasing a little bit more if I went tight end there than if I just took care of my starting RB spots.
Yeah, that Baltimore backfield is less healthy right now than I thought it would be a couple months ago at this point. I mean, Gus Edwards is going to miss, I think, half the season at this point. It looks like J.K. Dobbins, we heard recently that that they're going to take it easy on him out of the gate, which is not a surprise. So it's Mike Davis, and if he's a big part of your ground attack, I do think at least to open the season they're going to be probably close to a similar pass rate as they were throughout last season. So that's good news for Mike Andrews. Maybe that changes throughout the year. Maybe by the second half of the season they are closer. It's the 50%, 45% pass rate we've seen under Roman. But I think at least to open the season they're going to be pretty close to what they were last year.
What do we think about Lamar but bulking up? Like I'm trying to Matt loves narrative street, so I feel like do we think that's just in general because he's kind of ended the last 2 years hurt, or do we think hey maybe they didn't give him any more weapons? They kind of lost weapons. Are they going to run him more or the same? And he wants to stay healthy. I think that's kind of an interesting. I don't think he bulked up to sit in the pocket and throw more. So that
he doesn't have a contract yet either. I don't know what that means. I don't know if
narrative street, baby. Let's go.
A lot of narratives. Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's probably a matter of a guy saying, I didn't like being hurt last year. I'm going to make sure I'm in peak condition this year. I haven't really seen much of him yet to see whether he looks different, but I doubt that it's huge. I know that there was stuff like, the OC saying, you shook his hand. You can feel the difference. Like, all right, come on, guys.
Talk about a narrative.
I think what we're looking for is a healthy Lamar Jackson. It sounds like he's probably motivated to get that. And, otherwise we should expect plenty of fantasy numbers from him. I agree with what you said, Jared. It wouldn't be at all surprising if they throw the ball quite a bit to open the season. We'll see where they go. It's going to be an interesting team for sure. Overall, it's a backfield that's a lot less interesting than, it could be if people were healthy. Mike Davis is going to be more involved than he reasonably should be.
He won't go away.
The ship chasing crew. What Higgins in the second round? Oh boy.
No, they're the Chase Brown team.
Are
right?
they 5 or 6?
Thought they were 6.
I don't know.
Are we not supposed to be saying?
There are some mess with you names in this league where I'm not exactly sure who everyone is. They're like at the beginning there were like 4 teams with the same name, different owners but the same team name. So I don't know.
Funny.
AJ Brown and T Higgins. That's for Brown it's almost a full round ahead of ADP, right? For Higgins it's about a half round ahead. So it looks like those teams in the middle of the draft are looking to go 0 RB, and then you have more of the RB heavy starts, on your end of the draft, Matt.
Yeah, and when multiple teams are taking a certain path like that, it's certainly going to make me consider leaning in a different direction because, we're not only trying to beat these 12, but also trying to beat a large field. But, in this case, it does start with beating 11 other teams. So I want to differ from them. I want to try to do something different versus the tournament, but I'm also not going to go out of my way to make this different. I'm going to try to draft the best team and win $1 million.
And what's interesting too is, a lot of these main events, you're in here with some big names. You got Hubbard in here, you got the ship chasing guys and a bunch of other people. But like a lot of the times when you get these high volume drafters, they end up doing things that they maybe wouldn't normally do. And it ends up helping, like Diggs. I think Hubbard took Diggs at 4. Like
that was surprising.
He's doing that. But I was in a draft where he took Barkley at like 4 because he just wants to build these different rosters. If he's going to do 50 of them or 70, or however many he's doing, he wants to build different teams with players that he actually likes. So that's a strategy where it can help him in building a unique roster, and it can help you in building the roster that you want to build because you're only doing one. So that's kind of where it's where these rooms can get interesting.
Boy, it'd be nice to be in position where you could throw out 50 of these drafts in a year.
Well, when you're as successful as Hub is, you can roll it over and keep it going.
There you go. I'm sitting here in the room that also houses all of my family's board games and old VHS tapes, looking at broken lightsabers as I draft.
There you go.
I don't think I'll be throwing out 50 of these, but looking at what did go, I was surprised that Stephon Diggs went as early as he did. I started wondering if that was going to make other wide receivers fall. It did not really. Jamar Chase went pretty soon after. He was gone at 6. Then I was wondering if Austin Eckler would make it. He didn't. Travis Kelce slipped, but he went the pick before me. I probably would have taken him if he got to 10. I would have been curious to see if he topped the DS board at that point. I would imagine that he probably would have. And then so we got through that round. I'm not really surprised by anything in round 2. You mentioned Jared AJ Brown pushing up the board. Joe Mixon, I think, went later than he really should, but otherwise, I think round 2 looked kind of the way you would anticipate, just with the players involved.
Yeah, Javonte Williams, the other one that sticks out to me,
Yeah.
being what is he, like RB 10 there in the early to mid second round. That's a tough one for me to get behind.
Yeah,
Javonte Williams over Joe Mixon's not a good pick.
Yeah, Kamara went about 4 picks later. Higgins went about almost a full round higher. Aaron Jones went later, so I think there was definitely some. I think that's why
Leonard Fournette was the big faller right there. Him going in the mid third there.
Fournette fell. I think that's why McCaffrey went. McCaffrey, Kamara, Jones is because normally that start isn't there. So
guys, we have Darren Waller topping the DS picks as my turn approaches. He's not healthy yet, though, right, Jared?
No, he's practiced like a few days all camp with the hamstring.
I'm already
that would worry me a little bit.
I'm already wary of him with the situation now with Devontae Adams around, and just to throw an injury on top of that, he doesn't give me good vibes right now.
On the clock.
But
your boy's sitting there.
He is, and I think I'm gonna have to make it a 3 running back start.
Speaking of good vibes, Evans is dropping too. Isn't it funny? Brady comes back and Evans is still dropping even further.
I think the reaction to the Godwin news and the Julio signing was kind of delayed. Like I think that's where Evans would have gone all along if we knew that Godwin was going to, be ready early in the season, that they were going to add Julio Jones. Like it just took a while because he was going in the early second for a month there. He's just been kind of slowly dipping back down to where he belongs.
So Matt gets his boy James Conner. So I like. Can I just say I love the fact that we're not live and we can just go ahead and just freely speak. Other than like these other podcasts are hiding, can't say players' names. Like what are we doing here? So Matt, what's your plan? 3 straight running backs, robust RB. Are you best player available still, or are you just going to pound receiver here for the next couple rounds?
I mean, I'm definitely going to start pounding receiver soon. The question at 4-3 is if Darren Waller's still there, is he the guy? Am I just overlooking? Because he's way ahead of the receivers behind him in DMVP points. I know we still have Dalton Schultz around. We still have George
Goddard in the 6th. Goddard early 6 would be my target.
So this always interests me. Like, so what do we have Waller projected for fantasy points wise in this FFPC scoring system, versus the wide receivers available? Is he projected to score more points than the wideouts?
Oh, Allen Robinson just went off the board. So he's
Gabe Davis. Wow.
Waller's at 244. Brandon Cooks is the next wide receiver on my board at 250. Oh, wait, Allen Robinson didn't go. He just moved in the view I was looking at, right? Allen Robinson's still available? Yeah, he's still
available. I don't see Robinson off the board. Yep, for sure.
So Waller is basically projected to score the same amount of fantasy points, but you're going to use him at tight end. So
yeah, but that's
the hamstring
with the 1.5 PPR,
right?
Yeah, I mean it depends on how much you love. Like this is prime zone for Goddard in the next 2 rounds, like 5 and 6. I mean, if you want Goddard, you're going to get him. You know
that's
what I mean?
The thing. So the board the board has Waller at the top for me. We only have him projected for 4 more points than we have for Goddard. And we're probably talking that there's 2-round difference in ADP here. I'm still getting the bad vibes on Waller. I think I'm going to pass and go wide receiver here. Allen Robinson did go. We have Brandon Cooks.
Now you are on the clock.
He's on the clock. Man,
I'm not going to go running back again. I'm not taking Josh Allen early in the 4th.
Nope. There goes Waller. So that decision's made for you.
So I don't have that one. Now the board has Cooks at the top, just narrowly ahead of Dalton Schultz and George Kittle, though.
Waddle? Is Waddle available? How are you on Waddle?
Yeah,
Waddle's hurt. Waddle's hurt too. He's missed like 2 weeks now with an injury.
Big Mike out there? Oh, he's gone. That stinks.
The next receiver after Waddles, we got Terry McLaurin, then it's Broncos country.
Oh my! Just go Breece Hall and call it a night. Go Breece Hall, pack up your briefcase.
Running backs.
Go to bed.
I think it's gonna be Cooks for me.
15 seconds left.
Very on brand draft.
Very on brand draft. It's right.
If I'm not totally comfortable going with one of the tight ends there, and my safety blanket Brandon Cooks is sitting there staring at me, I might as well take that safety blanket and have a warm night, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Now we hope Goddard gets back to us.
Oh, he'll get back. He'll get back.
But of course, part of that is, even if I miss out on Goddard, we've talked about all the guys later on that I'm fine with as safety nets. You have to push everything up here, but that's why I've got the board and the ADP to help me see what's possible.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're going to get Goddard too, because it's all about how the draft falls, right? Like the team in front of you's got 2, and one of the teams behind you has 1. So I think he's definitely going to make it to you in the 5th, and then there's a good chance he makes it. I mean, his ADP is the middle of the 6th round, so unless the guy at the turn takes him, I think you're pretty safe to get. He goes at the 6-3, so he's right on you in the 6th.
We still have Schultz and Kittle out there as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
Schultz
they'll be gone.
Schultz almost always goes ahead of Goddard from where I've seen.
But what Matt's saying is it gives tight ends for other teams to take and leave Matt Goddard. So
look at that RB times 4.
Look at that.
RB times 4.
I love it.
Wow. See, I mean, I guess so. I guess it's getting out of best ball mode and into lineup setting mode, because when I see somebody take Javonte Williams in round 2 and then follow with 2 more running backs, I'm like, why did you take Javonte Williams? Or now aren't you betting against Javonte Williams hitting? But in the format here, if Javonte Williams is limited early in the season and you have Nick Chubb instead, you're cushioning that a little bit. And then if Javonte breaks out, You've gotten the RB points early. You still need to get lucky with the mid-round wide receivers, though. Regardless of best ball lineup setting, whatever, you are still kind of against your Javonte Williams pick, I think.
I don't think so, especially here because you can start all 4 of the running backs.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true. Two
Here,
RBs with the 2 flex spots. So
here's my thing. If you want to go for RBs, fine, but let's see what they do. Like, you don't take any more for maybe at all, or maybe one more in the 15th round. Like, let's have a plan here. Let's not just go take 8 running back. Like, I mean, for Matt's sake, I hope they take 5 more running backs. But like, but for their sake, like, don't take any more running backs.
That's where you're betting on those 4 being every week starters for you, staying relatively healthy and not backloading more RBs behind those top 4.
Why is Amon-Ra? Is this Theo Greminger was talking about how when Hard Knocks comes out, all these lions are going to fly up the board. Like, did Amon-Ra do something on Hard Knocks that I wasn't aware? Did he walk on water? Oh, like what did I miss? I mean,
what is he there? Wide receiver 23.
Like, nothing's changed, and he's gone up a full round. In 80,
is he going there regularly?
Yeah, he's going at the 411 in ADP, right there. I mean, nothing to, I mean, whatever. If you love Amon-Ra, great, but like, I just don't know why he's gone up around in ADP the last 2 weeks. Hard Knocks.
Got to be hard. Got to be Hard Knocks. Got to
be Hard Knocks. Yep. What am I missing?
I'm still not an Amon-Ra St. Brown drafter. I mean, I can see the positive path, but inside the top 24 just doesn't make sense to me.
Not ahead of Jerry Jeudy. No way.
No.
And he's in his ADP. He's 1 spot ahead of Brandon Cooks in our FFPC ADP. So apparently I made the reach by taking Brandon Cooks early in the 4th and should have, taken the Sun God instead.
Well, Cooks was not going to get back to you in the 5th.
I know.
Very likely. So, I mean, I don't think it was a reach there.
I don't believe so either. So we still got Hawkinson along with Goddard on the board among tight ends as we start making it back through round 5.
Schultz going that, I mean, first of all, going ahead of Goddard, but then just that close to the Kittle and Waller just doesn't sit with me.
What receivers are you hoping for?
Share picks up this year, though.
Schultz.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not much of a Dalton Schultz drafter either, but he's one where I'm like, man, possible I'm underrating him.
Yeah, I think I probably am too. The receivers there are so good that I just, I love, like, there's no way Schultz finishes as a top 3 tight end, I don't think, this year, but those receivers that are going there could absolutely smash. And again, I'm always in that range. I'm like, I'll just wait and see if I can get Goddard in the 6th or something. But what receivers are you looking for here, man? I mean, it's getting this, the 4 or 5 turn there always gobbles up a bunch of them. Are you looking for maybe Chris Godwin, maybe in that range?
I tell you, if Goddard gets to me at 5'10", I'm going to go ahead and take him because I know that our friend there at 5'12" is most likely going to take him around.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, no, good info. Good info. I forgot about that.
Well, I mean, there's one other wideout that sticks out to me. Would be a brand pick for Draft Sharks. I don't know if you want me to say his name. I don't know if you believe in jinxes.
I don't believe at all in jinxes. So you can say
Rashad Bateman.
So you can say Rashad Bateman. There goes Godwin to the Ship Chasers.
Okay, so it is them. Yeah,
it's definitely. I have confirmation. I have confirmation that is the Ship Chasers. Probably hated that they got sniped on Kittle in the 4th. That probably was a heartbreak hotel for them. But I got to tell you, I really like Team 1. Team 1 with that Judy. Like, I'm a big Juju turn guy there. And to get McCaffrey, Kamara, Jones, and to go that, I mean, especially if they get 2 more receivers, that's a really nice start.
I'm not the Juju fan still, especially where he's going there. I think it's too early for him.
I just see. I can imagine a world where he is. He used to be really, really good. Or he had a big season. Oh, come on.
That's fine. We're taking Ingram. We're taking Njoku late. We're fine.
But that's just so frustrating.
That's early. Yeah.
It's it's early. Like the guy that you want. Oh, it's so gross.
I mean, his ADP I think was 5'12" here, so it's not.
Is it?
Yeah. It's not crazy.
Well, I've got
I liked
6-3.
I liked the Pitts team through 3 rounds. I'm not huge on the Zeke in the 4th, and then
Bully
Now
tight
you
end.
are on the clock.
I think it might be Rashad Bateman time now, guys.
Steal.
yes.
Yeah,
We
I
do
like
have
that.
we also have some other wide receivers.
Bateman.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about.
Oh, you went Bateman? Oh, I thought you were on the clock.
Bateman's
Oh.
gone. We've got
That's a nice team.
We've got Hawkinson and Zach Ertz among the top few picks here.
Michael Thomas, is he there?
Those guys, Hawkinson
Do we hate him?
and Ertz don't get me going like Goddard does.
Metcalf, is he it?
The MVP
Metcalf's
really
gone?
likes Hawkinson in that spot. I think I'm
Man,
going to go upside at wide out with Michael Thomas, and
I
then we'll
like
see what comes back at tight end because,
That's
you
the
know,
right
I can
pick.
see the target upside for Hawkinson. I would be okay with him there. I wouldn't feel awful about it, but there is certainly a lack of excitement, and I'm okay if he doesn't make it back around and I'm playing with other players at the position. I think it's ultimately okay if I grab a couple later on. You know, we always talk about David Njoku, Evan Ingram. They'll be available later, and I'm okay with pairing a couple and just kind of figuring it out during the season too.
That's where I'm at. Once Goddard's off the board in these FFPC drafts, I'm just kind of waiting and
Me
trying
too.
to get like 2 of those late guys, whether it's Ingram and Njoku, Everett, Tyler Higbee. I think is undervalued. You know, we know he has a role in a top 10 passing game. You have some, Van Jefferson might miss the start of the season, which could help Higbee get off to a good start. So there's guys to take late, and you're not gonna win the position, but if you can just get by and win at the other positions, that can work.
Man, how about Hubbard getting Josh Allen in the 5th round to pair up with Diggs? Like, that's what we're talking about. Last year, Mahomes is going at the 2-3 turn, and this year it's the number 1 QB. Is it just more? Should I take that as a Josh Allen disrespect? Is that what I should do? The number 1 fantasy quarterback being drafted in the 5th when they always
you should take it as this
turn?
whole drafting universe here hates to be the first one to take quarterback.
I don't disagree with him. I don't disagree with him. But when you do take him as the first quarterback, it's in the middle of the 5th when you have Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, and I mean I think that's really much too long for him to last. I think Josh Allen should have come off the board earlier than that. I don't think he would have been a bad pick at my 403 spot. I didn't seriously consider him there, but I think anywhere in round 4 is just a fine time to start quarterbacks.
Elijah Moore.
I'd still rather have Kyler in the 7th than Allen in the 4th, but
that's
agreed.
Fair.
Team 9 is going to be a problem for you, Matt. I like that team, the Kelsey Andrews team.
I'm just not worried about the bully tight end start. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I think that's one of those things that you talk yourself into because of the format, and then you just end up behind at another position. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
It looks like 9 has a plan, though. He bully tight end. I mean, I don't think he went in thinking Kelsey Andrews, but he or she adjusted Evans, Waddle, Bateman, and now they're probably going to take maybe another receiver and then pound running back. You'll see, or something for a couple rounds. But
Hawkinson was screaming at somebody else at the top of the draft sharks war room at the 5-6.
Matt, are you thinking Thielen coming up here?
On the clock.
I'm sorry, who'd you say, Adam?
Adam Thielen, maybe coming up here, or another receiver?
That's certainly a possibility. I thought about him last time. It's a little too early. So we still got Justin Herbert on the board, which is always enticing.
I'm curious to see how far the quarterbacks fall in this draft.
I have a feeling that they're going to fall a lot. That's just whenever we get in these drafts where the first one doesn't go to the 4 or 5 turn, or that just ends up being pushing them way down, for sure. But this is a tough spot. I don't envy Matt here. It's a tough spot. I would love to have better receiving options here, I think. And he's already got 3 running backs, tight ends. No, this is the hard part about the kind of the back end of the first round.
This is where you win.
That's right. This is where
you win.
Yeah, I think I'll push off quarterback. I'll push off tight end, and I'll take Adam Thielen. It's kind of, I don't know. It's a little bit boring, but obviously he's showed us what he can do if he's healthy, and the offense should be pass friendly this year. So this is probably my least favorite selection so far, but it's not in a bad way. It's just,
I mean, it's wide receiver 33. Like,
Right. I mean, when
was-
Thielen plays, there's zero chance he's wide receiver 33.
I think I would be more enthusiastic about it if I weren't a Justin Herbert fan. And so that was me trying to push aside that and make the smarter play, figuring that 2 picks from now, or I guess, next turn, there's still going to be one of these quarterbacks that I like that doesn't really have a whole lot of separation between him and Justin Herbert. And then I will have liked taking Adam Thielen and waited for the quarterback instead.
Yeah, when Hurts is still sitting there in the 8th round, you're going to be glad you didn't take Herbert there.
It certainly won't be a bad thing to watch a big season from Justin Herbert if I am also enjoying a big season from Jalen Hurts at the same time.
Well, we got our Chargers Super Bowl tickets too, so we're already invested in Herbert.
I like it.
I'm just waiting for that one. All right,
I already bought my plane tickets to Arizona for the Bills game, for the Bills Super Bowl.
My board's got tight ends and quarterbacks all over the place. Yep. So it might start getting mad at me if I don't get one of those positions at the next turn. But round 7 is where we were talking about, right? It's definitely going to make sense to look there.
Yes, I'm still wait on tight end at this point. Like I don't want to take Ertz. I don't want to take Knox. I'd rather just wait, 5 rounds and get guys that I think are pretty comparable.
What about Kyler Murray and Zach Ertz around the same turn though, if that's a possibility?
I wouldn't hate that. Ertz to me is the last tight end that I would like. Like he's clearly below Goddard to me. He's almost in like a tier of his own to me. It's Goddard, and then it's teardrop Ertz, teardrop, all those Dawson Knox, Komet, Pat Fryman's guys. So I could see that, especially if you're pairing him up with Kyler Murray, and it makes sense.
Ertz is going to be nice those first 6 games without Hopkins, but when Hopkins comes back, I worry about what's going to happen to Ertz's volume.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it is worth noting that he's getting older. I know that they re-signed him, but he's certainly in a range where some decline would not be a shock.
Quarterback going here, I can almost guarantee it here the next round for them. So I think hopefully you're going to get. I mean, are you okay with Jalen Hurts at the 7-8 there, man? Okay, so I think you'll at least get Hurts at this point.
I just saw before we came on, Hurts has passed Kyler Murray in Underdog ADP.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, people are so down on Murray with the contract and the study clause.
Call of Duty
guys.
issues. Yeah.
Call of Duty.
Is that what he's doing?
So stupid.
Too much Call of Duty. I'm happy to take the Kyler Murray discount.
Now all he has to do is leave the team and be on Masked Singer. And nobody
there you go. The Masked Singer.
What do you guys think, though? We're talking about Kyler Murray. What do you guys think of pairing that quarterback and running back? Because I already have James Conner on my roster.
I really like doing that with mobile quarterbacks because now I like that with like the Trey Lance, Elijah Mitchell. I mean, I don't really like drafting Elijah Mitchell, but Trey Lance, Elijah Mitchell gets you, or Debo even gets you all the rushing touchdowns, so stuff like that. I think that's an interesting way to kind of handcuff all the rushing touchdowns.
I think it's something I wouldn't target, but that's one situation where I'm okay with James Conner and Kyler Murray going together. On my team last year, I did have Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott together, and it ended up that I overdrafted Zeke Elliott for what he gave me. Of course, we found out after the season that he was playing on an injured knee, but it worked. Wow. The team worked out overall.
Ramondre, round 6.
Really I think it's a bet on the offense,
right?
If you're taking Conner, and Conner is going to catch enough passes where there is some correlation there.
The bet on the offense is maybe the mark against him for me with my feelings on Cliff Kingsbury. But, there's certainly offensive upside, and the 2 players that I would be taking would be players worth betting on, I think.
For sure.
Yeah, and I don't think Kingsbury's that bad. I mean, listen, Murray's very talented, and he has a lot of weapons around him. And, you don't have to worry about late season weather, all that. Like, I think he has a lot of things going for him. I don't think Kingsbury is Jason Garrett bad. So I think he'll be fine.
No, I wouldn't call him Jason Garrett.
No one's Jason Garrett.
We'll see if he's good.
We'll see if he's good. That's right.
Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver 36, right toward the end of round 6. I think that's where he belongs right now, because there's upside well beyond that, and you're also not investing too much. That team, it's its 5th wide receiver. his or her. I don't know that drafter
There,
personally.
they there.
It is that team's 5th wide receiver. We got lots of yellow on the board so far, guys. Ramondre Stevenson was the 24th running back off the board toward the middle of round 6, just past the middle of round 6. I think that's early for Ramondre Stevenson, but it's late for the 24th running back off the board.
I mean, we have what? Their team 2 is Hero RB. Team 5 is 0 RB. Team 6 was 0 RB until Pollard. The team at 12, there's a lot of teams pushing those wide receivers up the board in this draft.
And then there's 4 of us that are like robust RB early. We got 3 teams that took running backs in the first 3 rounds. The one that we talked about took a 4th one, and then there was the Kyle Pitts team just sandwiched 3 running backs around Kyle Pitts in round 2.
All right, time to start sweating the quarterbacks.
I know.
There's
two left in that tier. Well, who are you talking? Hurts and Murray, yeah.
Hurts and Kyler.
But then listen, you're gonna force Matt Sand to take Trey Lance. He'll be fine. He'll be fine with that. He'll be fine.
I would not mind if either Kyler or Hurts made it to me. I think I would take either guy that makes it here, because I would imagine that if one of them gets to me, that one's gonna go in the 4 picks between my 7th rounder and my 8th rounder. And, we talked about it earlier. I do think, it's not like I think I'm going to be done if I don't get one of those top 6 quarterbacks, but I do think there's a drop off there where it changes things.
Yeah, I agree. I also wouldn't mind you getting another receiver here. Like if you get
Hurts, it's QB5.
Oh yeah.
All right, come on, Kyler.
One time.
We've got the Marquise Brown team, by the way, still in the middle of the round, coming back to no quarterback yet.
Oh
no! But like I was saying, I'm okay with you taking. I'm even okay with you double tapping receiver here if you felt the need, because I just feel like you can never have
Christian Kirk. That was kind of the guy I was hoping would make
too
it back
many receivers. Christian Kirk good at football?
No, he's not. He's just okay, but. It's volume.
If you're into reception perception, Matt Harmon's a Christian Kirk guy, so he wins.
Who does? I love Matt Harmon. He does awesome work, but who does Matt Harmon not like?
I'm trying to think.
I
I know a couple off the top, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. You probably have to subscribe to reception perception.
Probably do that. Yep.
Probably doesn't like Zay Jones.
That's right.
Josh Jacobs still hanging on around here, right? I'm trying to think who's at the top of your RB board, Matt. Not that you're looking there, but I'm just wondering. I feel like some guys are falling.
Yeah, and I think it is getting to the point where if quarterbacks are gone, it's like, well, fine. If people are not going to take them, and speaking of quarterbacks being gone, there goes Kyler Murray.
Yeah, to the Marquise Brown team. Yeah, that was
makes
Joe
sense.
Burrow's still out there, Russell Wilson. So yeah, Josh Jacobs is the top running back on my board. Obviously behind Joe Burrow and some tight ends. This is not a Joe Burrow turn for me.
No.
So
who are the Hunter? My gosh.
So you got Tyler Lockett's available. Is Hopkins? Hopkins is gone.
Yeah, he went. Yeah, so running backs, we've got Jacobs available, we've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we've got Chase Edmonds. I think they all make sense in this range. Miles Sanders is less interesting for me now than he was.
Do you want to take a quarterback with one of these next 2 picks, or are you going to push it down at this point?
It's not going to be a quarterback at 7-10 because I don't think Joe Burrow is that close. I have him less close to the group of 6 that's going.
Lance and Burrow go in the 8th, so you could it'd be fine ADP to take one in the 8th for Lance if you wanted to do that.
You got tight ends. Ertz is leading my board. Pat Freiermuth is there. Dawson Knox is there. Cole Kmet's behind them. So it's starting to get ugly at tight end.
Yeah, I would let it stay ugly, but whatever you.
2 guys behind me both have tight ends, I believe.
Yes,
they do.
Hawk. Yeah.
Tyler Lockett, stay on brand.
Oh,
yeah.
Geno's been pretty good this preseason.
Lockett,
yeah, but they wanted to be Drew Lock.
Lockett's ADP's the 9th round too. Like I don't know. I don't think I'd force Lockett.
Yeah.
Is Amari there? Cooper? Oh, he
He
just
just
went.
went.
Man.
Is it a running back then?
I mean,
Left.
you could start him. You can start a running back. I mean, you can start 4. This is tough. I mean, Damian Pierce.
I'm just gonna go ahead and take Josh Jacobs here
If you want to
because
get
I
wild.
don't love anything at any other position, so I might as well take a guy that I think should not still be on the board. And like you said, I can start him, and I can also be done with running back for good at this point if I want to be.
Sure.
Yeah, he should be. Yep.
Yeah, this is.
I mean,
this-
RB 27 for Jacobs. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, man, these have been some tough turns for sure.
Yeah, we have a new least favorite pick, so I don't dislike Jacobs here, but I'm certainly not like, yes, Josh Jacobs is my 4th running back at 7-10.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter's not going to like this draft, but we'll see where it stands when it actually matters at the end of the season.
That's how we want it too, though, right? I don't want
Yep.
to put a draft out there that everybody's like, oh yeah, I love it, it's my favorite, you're gonna win. Because then it's like, well, I probably took the team that everybody's taken there then.
Yeah, those teams never actually win.
Plus, it saves me taking the 4th running back there saves me from committing to Clyde Edwards-Helaire around here.
Yeah.
Like, I got enough of him on teams that aren't looking for $1 million.
Right.
I got to tell you though, if Zach Ertz makes it back to 8-3, I think I'm just going to go ahead and
Yeah.
bite that bullet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to love at wideout.
And
So.
Zach Ertz has the new baby thing going for him, Jared.
Baby swag.
It's a little bit out from the game. It's not like they had one over the weekend and then he went out and played Sunday, but I think that just happened within the past week, I think.
Yeah. Yep, it did. So no quarterback for you though. Still at this next spot, you're just gonna.
Yeah, just I'm not feeling Joe Burrow right there. He's fine. I wouldn't argue with somebody who said Joe Burrow is my pick in the 8th, but I also like Russell Wilson, basically even. What's the ADP on Russell Wilson here?
Russ, it goes in 10-4.
You are
Here's the
up.
thing too. You just have to if neither of these guys took a QB, you just have to fade 3 teams
Right.
taking a
Yep.
quarterback, and then so if you like 3 or 4 of them, then you can just wait.
I mean, Burrow, Russ, and Lance, I'd be happy with. And you have Brady. I think we have some bad vibes on Brady, but I mean, he's not the worst fallback option.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that he'll be all right this year.
Yeah.
Right.
That's usually worked out if you bet on
Now
Brady.
you are on the clock.
I mean, if you're
Oh,
trying
there
to
goes Ertz.
good.
Good. We didn't want him. You didn't want Ertz there.
So we got
if you're gonna
Pat
push
Freiermuth,
one off.
Dawson Knox.
No.
Yeah.
Take
not
Lockett.
feeling those guys.
Take
Lockett's a little bit better now, but again, I mean, there's Olave.
Oh,
Sorry, it's not a lot.
I'm throwing receiver names out there. That's all.
So we got.
I mean, Lockett's not going to make it back to you
Lockett.
according to ADP. So
Right.
if you're a Lockett guy,
I mean, Lockett is by far our top, best available wide receiver, right?
Yep. I like.
Matt's got tight end on the mind. Tight
Marquez
ends on the
Valdez-Scantling
mind.
around here too, but it's probably a little
What's
bit.
his
early.
ADP? What's his ADP, Adam?
15 seconds left.
Who?
Early 11.
MVS.
Oh, late. 10, 12.
All right, lock it is. Lock it in.
Yes.
Lock it in.
8th round, Tyler Lockett's not going to lose my season.
Wide
No.
receiver 43.
So now we got some disrespect picks. Josh Jacobs shouldn't be going that late. Tyler Lockett shouldn't be going that late.
Yeah, I'm surprised Jacobs hasn't moved up with the news that the Kenyon Drake's gone. Like,
I don't think he should have. I don't think Drake was the threat. I mean, I think they still have the pass catching backs there, whether it's going to be Abdul or Bolden. And you still have Zamir White, who, could steal some of the early down stuff.
I don't know. Jacobs could be. I mean, the new regime came in. They put him in the first preseason game because I want to see. Just want to look at him. Then they don't play him. Then they cut a running back that's already on the team. Like, I feel like his stock dropped and now it's solidifying. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just surprised he's not going higher with all the running back thirsts that ends up being out there. Like, is he really 2 round, like a round and a half worse than David Montgomery? Or Ramondre Stevenson or J.K. Dobbins? Like,
Nope.
It's just because there's some Zamir White buzz. I think I don't buy it, but
I mean, the To me, the bull case on Jacobs is, he's going to get the goal line stuff in, what should be a strong offense, going to be in a
Very
bunch of
strong
shootouts. So
offense,
he could score 12 touchdowns pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm not buying that Zamir White is pushing him aside, but people are looking for reasons to not like Josh Jacobs. It's like the reverse of what we said with Justin Jefferson earlier. People want a reason to have Justin Jefferson a little bit higher on their board. They want a reason to not draft Josh Jacobs. So now it's, the Raiders coaches really like Zamir White. They declined the option on Josh Jacobs. Clearly, they don't like him. Josh Jacobs is the only guy there that has a shot to be a 3-down back for them. But whether he is or not, we'll see. But late round 7 is, not too big an investment in that happening.
Late round 7, you're drafting him as not a 3-down back.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm drafting him as A.J. Dillon there.
That's right. Yep.
And it's good for this team that Joe Burrow is still on the board. That only helps the chances of Lance and Russ also lasting.
Yeah.
So the Chase team already has Kyler, and the Higgins team already has Lamar. So no one's going to be targeting Burrow as part of a stack. So that might help him.
Here's the Debo Michael Lance here. The Debo team. Burrow. Trying to see who's got.
I mean,
I think if you're taking Debo in round 2, you probably should take Trey Lance on your team, because you're betting that Debo Samuel is going to be.
He's not going to take him though, because I'm surprised. I'm surprised he took him there with 2 guys with a quarterback behind him.
Yeah, that's
interesting.
That's
I think that was a
faux pas. It's a draft faux pas.
I think that was a draft faux pas for sure.
Could have waited.
Yeah, it can be tough to keep track of all those things as you're drafting, but yeah, if you are aware, it's certainly you should be letting it pass those 2 turns and assuming that Trey Lance gets back to you.
Don't make excuses for him, Matt. It's not that hard to keep track. Just have the draft board pulled up.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the draft board. I wouldn't.
Right. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing.
So Burrow and Russ, where's the Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton drafters if they're trying to stack? So the Jeudy team has Mahomes.
Yeah, you just got to worry about
Sutton go?
The London Renfro Burks team and the Evans Waddle Bateman team.
The Sutton team is right behind me on this next turn, so
that's so nice.
Get past me.
Snipe them.
It's so nice and that's like stuff that you don't really talk about. It doesn't come up in like strategy articles, but really depending like on what teams do behind you and the luck of the draw, like you're literally the gatekeeper to those final 2 teams on getting a quarterback. So you can decide now is the time, take them and kind of lock them out, and that way you can get your guys. So you're in a pretty sweet spot.
If both Burrow and Russ make it back, I think I'm rolling with Burrow over him, but I don't have a whole lot of separation between those guys. So, yeah, curious to see how this goes. We just saw your boy Chris Olave go off the board. I think wide receiver 47 is a fair range for him.
Yeah, I like. And by the way, when I said that, I forgot you had Michael Thomas already when I had mentioned that. But I don't know. Olave's. I think he's. I mean, J-Rod loves Olave, and I don't
love him. I like him.
You love him. You love Olave, and
you're projecting your love.
He's an outside receiver, and we were at the NFL draft party. That's all Jared was doing. He's freaking mumbling Olave in his sleep all night long. Yeah, it was.
Why were you watching him sleep?
He's an outside receiver.
Yeah.
Did we share a room, or was that 2 years ago?
That was the outhouse 2 years ago.
That's right, oh, well, what a night!
I've come down on Olave for 2022 redraft as the Michael Thomas news has gotten better. I just think and I mean Jarvis Landry just soaks up targets too, no matter where he is. So I just think it's tough to see Olave getting enough volume to be somebody you can count on weekly this season.
Yeah, I don't think you necessarily have to if you're getting him in the 8th or 9th round.
Sure.
And he's an outside stud receiver, and Winston loves throwing to the outside guys. That's kind of his thing. But I mean, again, 8th, 9th round. I mean, I love Pickens too. Gone. Man. I would definitely take Olave or Pickens over Sky Moore at this point, and Treylon Burks. So Gibson in the 9th. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm ranking those rookies at this point, I mean, I think I'm still Treylon Burks first, and then I'd probably go Pickens second, Sky Moore third, Olave fourth.
I'm probably not drafting any of those guys at the cost. That's what it's going to cost to get them, to be honest.
I just feel like, I don't know. Does the coach there hate Treylon Burks? I mean, they had a scrimmage with another team, and it was offense versus defense. They said, bring out your best 2 receivers, and they brought out Robert Woods and
Kyle Phillips.
And Kyle Phillips. Listen, I'm telling you right now, they love Kyle. Mike Vrabel loves Kyle Phillips. Loves him. He's never said it, and I know he loves him. It's his.
I mean, how much say does Vrabel have? How much say does Vrabel have in the offense, though?
Listen, Vrabel's
the king in that place.
Vrabel comes from the Patriots. Okay, they love Kyle Phillips. I'm telling you, love him. I'm not saying
every offensive coordinator they have is promoted from an assistant position, so it's guys that he's kind of weaning along before they take over. I'm sure he has say in whatever he wants to have say in.
I mean, Kyle Phillips better learn how to play on the outside though, because they're not running a whole bunch of 3 wide receiver sets in Tennessee.
Kyle Phillips is a new Hunter Renfrow, baby.
Very valid point.
Why don't you take him here, Matt? 9th round.
Kyle Phillips.
Because I like money more than I like Kyle Phillips. Speaking of money, we got Joe Burrow. We're 2 picks away. Joe Burrow's still on the board. I think he's probably going to be my pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Of course.
I don't love their playoff schedule for what it's worth.
Romeo Dubs, is he on your radar at all, man? Are you out on him? I don't think I've talked to you about him.
I'm not picking him at this level.
At the 10. So he's going, his ADP is 10-8 or 10-9. But again, in this draft doesn't matter. I mean, Pickens went earlier than 80. I mean, receivers are flying up the board here.
Yeah, those guys are going too early for me. That's why I say I'm probably not the buyer on them, because I think that their ceilings are being overstated at these prices. Like Robert Woods is still on the board. I'm taking him straight up over Treylon Burks right now.
I'm just staring at that running back run that just happened. Damian Harris dropping to RB 37. 3 rounds after Ramondre Stevenson. Miles Sanders getting there. The then you kind of have Rashad White mixed in at RB 36, who I still think is just a handcuff, but obviously has upside. It was just an interesting 5 running backs come off the board there.
Burrow did not quite make it to me, so it's Russell Wilson time.
Now you got to do it now before.
Oh yeah,
that turn kills you. That's fine though.
Oh yeah,
Russell Wilson round 9.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
That's in passing on it earlier. Well, actually, I don't even think there was a point where I really passed on it. Last time that like Herbert in round 6, and that was like I really like Justin Herbert, but if there's all these quarterbacks left, then I'm not ready yet. So it wasn't a strong thought. And then beyond that, I wasn't looking quarterback at 7 or 8. And I was hoping that Russell Wilson would be the one back to me. So it's worked out as far as I'm concerned.
He looks nice right next to Tyler Lockett too.
Yeah, it feels like it's an emotional stack.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes Robert Woods. I probably would have taken him if he made it back around the turn, but obviously not a guy that I'm sad to miss out on.
You're aiming for the unsexiest team ever here.
Oh yeah, that's what you want. That's where the value is.
Yeah. That's where the value is.
MVS is still out there, right? I mean, you were considering him last turn.
Yeah, it might be time to just go ahead and take a tight end, though. I just noticed that Zach Ertz, the pick that got sniped right before me, went to a team that already had a tight end. So I think we're getting into the range where more teams are going to start taking second ones. It's getting, it's going to get more picked over. I know that I want to take 2 at some point. So I think it's probably going to be
4 teams behind you don't even have one, or 4 teams. So yeah, it's going to go like crazy.
I think it's we just had Dawson Knox go. I think it's going to be either Freiermuth or Cole Kmet for me. Talking about unsexy. There you go, baby.
Don't take Cole Kmet.
Now I kind of want to take Cole Kmet.
Off brand. And to kind of point, like, this is why it's hard for me. Like, I don't disagree at all with the Barkley, Henry, Connor start, though, that those guys are great, especially where you got them. But then, man, when you get to these later rounds, it's like, I feel like a lot of the upside is there at the running back position. Like even here, we're taking a quarterback, we're taking a tight end because the receivers are like, blah. So whereas some of the running backs, got some decent upside. I mean, you even got, is Brian Robinson still out there? I mean, a guy like that, but you can't take him with this build that you got going.
I'm totally fine with that, because now, like, what's the downside on that? We've got this team that waited and waited and waited on running back, and now they've got Rashad White as their RB2, and I'm like, oh, well, have fun waiting for your upside, guys. I'm going to be starting Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and James Conner every single week, and I still have wide receivers that I like for 2 to 3 slots among them. So I don't regret at all starting with those running backs.
Yeah, it just depends on what you're comfortable with, the guys that you like in certain ranges, and and I don't know if you have any like GOAT, I'm sure you do, but like guys that you really love in the teen rounds for receiver. Like there's a couple guys I talk about him every day, Isaiah McKenzie, where you can get him in like round 14 and he can be your wide receiver 3 absolutely. So even if you take, so if you were to take a guy like that, I'm sure you have somebody like that, and Thielen gets hurt or Lockett doesn't pan out or whatever, you can always throw him. He can be a wide receiver 3 for sure. Just like Cole Beasley was for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm. We had Cole Kmet go off the board so that I didn't have to put Jared through the suffering of taking him. You mentioned Romeo Doubs being in round 10. He went right before my Pat Freiermuth pick in round 10. I did take Freiermuth. I was looking at this. I was looking at the group coming up this way is Dawson Knox, Pat Freiermuth, Cole Kmet kind of making it toward me. I would have been okay with any of them. I certainly do not hate Pat Freiermuth here. He's the 12th tight end off the board. Seems fine to me early in round 10.
Yeah, for sure.
I've warmed up to him. I think Kenny Pickett especially has looked good this preseason. I think he's going to take over, if not week 1, by October, and I think he'll be good enough to support those weapons in Pittsburgh.
I thought about waiting a little bit longer, just pushing off tight end to the later guys that we've talked about before, but I think that there's a little bit more target certainty for Freiermuth than if I waited till others. And I mean, Njoku and Ingram are going to stick around. I will probably get one of those 2 guys at some point. Albert O, I'm sure that there are some people who will look at the way this board is playing out and think that I should have gone for Albert O instead to pair with Russell Wilson. I don't believe in his upside case this year. So it's not for me. And I don't feel the urge to stack there. I think it's fine to do so, but it's not an urge like it would be for a best ball team.
The upside case is still there for me with Alberto, just when you look at his profile and the offense he's in, but I'm less confident he's going to hit that ceiling than I was, even a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's fair. It's certainly an upside case there. I don't believe in him hitting.
Well, he goes at the 12-3 as well. So you could always get him too, get them both, because I know you're going to take at least one more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So, still an option for you.
MVS would have been the pick if I passed on tight end there. Went 3 picks later. MVS it would be fun, but that's not a player that I'm like, damn, I'm gonna miss out on a special season.
You're gonna see one of these 0 RB teams or hero RB teams so excited to get Brian Robinson at the back end here, the 10th round.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he's still available.
Because he just fits. Well, because his ADP is where Matt picked, and all those teams have heavy running back starts, so he doesn't really fit that bill. So you're gonna get they're gonna take him right here. I can almost guarantee that team or team 2. He won't make it past team 2, but I think he's gonna go here.
Let's see if he doesn't go here, let's see if he goes to the Antonio Gibson team next, which just took 4 straight running backs.
Right, that's right.
That would be a nice second running back for that team 2 that hasn't taken a running back since Jonathan Taylor. Darrell Henderson.
Darrell Henderson's fine too.
That's a good pick.
Henderson's got a higher upside for sure.
Yes,
for sure. With an injury to Akers, so I could see that as well.
Darrell Henderson is certainly worth mentioning the injury risk on as well. Maybe I'll check the injury guide and bring up specifics instead of just saying that he worries me on the injury front.
Well, they're both hurt right now, right? I mean, Henderson and Akers are both out still.
Mm-hmm. Although I do believe that team just plays it conservatively with stuff like that, and we don't really know just how hurt he is. But Darrell Henderson is ahead of Cam Akers in injury risk. He is 8th among all running backs in our probability of getting an injury this season, which of course is anybody who is likely to miss 2+ quarters of action. He's got 2.6 projected games missed. So up there in injury risk. Obviously, it matters less when you're talking about a backup quarterback. But that's something to factor in when you're thinking about him.
Yeah, that's why to me, Akers and Henderson, I like taking them both still, and especially Akers. His ADP is dropping. He's like a 5th round pick pretty regularly now, and he was late 5th in this draft. But and I'm kind of buying the talk that it's going to be a committee. McVay in the past has wanted to ride one guy, but I do think they're leaning towards more of a committee this season. But if either of those guys goes down this season, the other guy becomes top 12 fantasy back.
For sure. I mean, I want to love Akers because I still do think, and listening to, I forget the beat writer you guys had, the second Rams beat writer you had on the show, but he said McVay, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, was just so upset with the offense. It was sloppy. It was terrible, except for the run game, and the only active running back that week was Cam Akers. So he wasn't talking about Darrell Henderson. So I think McVay loves Akers, and I think he really wants him to be the guy. So I want to love Akers, but I just don't see him being explosive enough or staying healthy all year. I think the best bet is Henderson 5-6 rounds later.
Gilbert Manzano was the.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, by the way, in case you're watching this or listening to it and haven't checked out the Team Insider series, we had, I believe, 18 different team insiders of varying degrees come on. So check that whole series out. Anywhere you get your pods, on the YouTube channel, it's on draftstrikes.com, it's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on Amazon Music, kind of wherever people like to get their podcasts, you'll find all those and lots of information from those that you don't necessarily get just by reading the reports, and certainly things that we don't just know as we're projecting teams. So I know that we have made some projections changes based on stuff we heard in those shows.
That was my favorite thing we did this offseason was those interviews. I think we learned a lot of stuff that we hadn't previously thought about or previously heard.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good. Like there's some things that might not even make it into their daily reports. They're going to highlight people that did particularly well that day. They're going to talk about guys who might be struggling. They're going to talk about injuries. But, sometimes it just takes asking a question. You're like, actually, that guy looks like he has the same workload as last season. He looks like the coaches really like him, all that stuff. It was good nuggets. I agree. It was a fun series to do. I'm sure it's something we'll run back next year.
And even just talking to those guys live, like you can hear sometimes how excited they are about a certain player or how worried they are about a situation. Like even it's not even what they say, it's how they say it sometimes.
Plus, a lot of those guys, when they're writing their columns and stuff, they don't have fantasy football on the mind. So they're not, it takes fantasy football guys to bring out questions and look for certain information that they have. They just haven't shared it because they don't think it's relevant. So that's where that stuff can certainly come in handy.
What's fun is finding some of those folks who do get fantasy and they're like, this is the guy that you want for fantasy, or he looks good. The team loves him. I'm not sure how much he's going to give you fantasy wise. So it was fun to see the different levels among all the people that we had on.
Yeah, I'd say quite a few of those guys play fantasy. I don't know if it made the actual podcast, but whether it was before the show started or after, we'd talk fantasy with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Tom Brady, QB 10 off the board in the middle of round 11. So we're certainly still seeing QBs slide. That's about 2 rounds after Joe Burrow and Russell Wilson went off the board. A little bit more than 2 rounds after, I believe, right?
Nobody took a QB since you took Wilson.
And no one took a tight end either since you took Brian. So.
There you go. I ended that tier.
That's right. End it.
Confirmation.
Call it a night.
How about Chase Claypool going 2 full rounds after George Pickens?
They flip-flopped for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That seems like too much to me, honestly.
You are up next.
I'm very interested to see George Pickens in games, but to me, that's just too much of a change at this point. We'll see.
I still want to know who's going to be out there in 2 wide receiver sets because they kind of split that work in the second preseason game. And if maybe that's how it's going to be during the regular season. But to me, that's going to determine who the better fantasy play is, who's getting the snaps opposite Deontay when they're in 2 wide.
As both of the teams behind me have 2 tight ends already, do you think that I should get my guy or take a chance that he makes it back around to me?
Oh, take a chance.
Mm-hmm. I was
Is your
just
guy
about
is
to
your
get
guy a
my
tight end? I don't know. I don't know.
See, I
what
was
you're saying
just
there.
about to get my guy's a tight end. I was just about
Oh,
to
no, wait.
get him, and then I noticed that they already had 2 apiece, and I just
Yep.
don't need to yet.
Yeah, no, push it back. God, Pierce and Palmer in the 11th. What is going on?
I don't love anything that's on the
There's
board.
been
though.
there's been a couple buzzy stories on Palmer over the past
Yeah,
couple of days. So I
I
think
guess
his
he
ADP
goes
is going to climb.
He goes in the 11th. Yeah. Wow.
I'll just take a handcuff wide receiver from Cincinnati.
Another very unsexy pick.
Oh yeah,
Boyd? Is that where we're going here, Boyd?
Yeah.
we're
Man,
getting
that's got to be late for Boyd, huh?
we're
wide
making the
receiver
Midwest bowling
61.
team of fantasy squads.
Wide receiver 61 on Boyd. That's crazy.
Where does he go here? I'm looking.
I mean,
Brr.
and what's his wide receiver ADP? That's what I want to know, because I gotta imagine it's more in the lower 50s.
Why can't I find Boyd? What's in my mind?
I got you, boo.
Wilson, Palmer. Oh, Boyd.
We have him
middle of
wide
the
receiver
11th.
53.
Middle of the 11th. So this is about where you got him a couple picks after ADP, but not
What number?
much.
What number wide receiver is he?
53.
I'm not sure. I'm looking at the grid.
Okay.
Wide receiver 53 according to our ADP for FFPC drafts.
Yep.
So yeah, around the same time, but it looks like it's probably been a more wide receiver hungry draft than usual. We got 2 more picks. See if Evan Ingram gets back to me, and if he does, he's not getting past me.
So the CD Lamb drafter is able to stack Dak there in the late 11th. That worked out nicely.
So Ingram goes at 12-13 turn. So yeah, you're just taking him a couple picks ahead of ADP.
It's time.
It's time.
Oh,
Yeah, you're not going to get him. It might be time to start targeting after this pick. Start targeting all your like mid-round receiver targets, because man, these guys are.
Yeah.
You are up
These
next.
guys are Nico Collins in the 11th, Wan'Dale Robinson in the 11th. I mean, Wan'Dale to me, like, he's 5'3". Like, I just don't understand. Like, I think I like him in like a gadget role, but we're talking about Tony still isn't how, like, is Wan'Dale Robinson really prepared to play every snap on offense? I mean, I just don't think he's big enough.
He played running back his first couple of years in college. He took some hits.
And then they moved him to receiver.
Yeah.
He's like, this hurts, coach.
My issue with Wan'Dale Robinson is, are they going to give him a 2-yard ADOT like Rondale Moore? And then,
right.
He needs extreme volume to really be worth anything. So he's not somebody I'm against. I think it's probably a little bit early in this particular draft. Wide receiver 58, round 11. You can't argue too much with somebody in that range, but I think that the ceiling is capped on him for this season.
Sterling Shepard could be a problem too, now that he's trending towards being ready early in the season.
I mean, Tony's a guy that I loved last year in season, not preseason, and then I just want to love, but he can't stay healthy, and he's a head case. Like
I can just already tell that's going to be his entire career.
I know
you're never going to feel comfy with Tony, but he's gonna have like 6 20-point games every season, but it's just it's gonna be headaches in between them.
And he's one of those guys, the worst kind of player where they play for a quarter and then they're done. Like, it's just, that's how he was last year. It's like, it's not like, if you're gonna miss a game, fine, but I can't start you on Monday Night Football and have you play 2 drives.
He's a best ball guy.
He's a best.
Just draft him. Don't have to look at him.
Yeah.
We'll see where this goes, but I might take a second quarterback before the end of the draft just so I don't have to mine for it on waivers.
Listen, you're only
I think Russ is on the border.
Leagues, okay.
Wilson's on the border to me, where you don't need to take a second, but I also wouldn't be opposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
What's his buy off the top of my? I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
It's week 9. I was just looking at it, so I've got a while before I have to find a replacement for him. But Trevor Lawrence has a home game against the Raiders that week.
Nice. That's it.
That's
what you got to do. Look at those guys.
And then when Trevor Lawrence has a week 11 bye, guess who Russell Wilson's playing?
The Chiefs.
Nope. Home game against the Raiders.
Picking on the Raiders. Although I think their defense is going to be much improved this year. I think.
Can't get much
Is it?
worse.
Can't get much worse.
I don't think they really did a whole lot to make it worrisome for passing games. Chandler Jones is there, which should help, but I'm not sure.
That's kind of what I meant by much improved. Yeah, I don't know anything more than that. But as far as you're the IDP king. I mean, it can be improved, and it still might not matter because they're playing Denver, Kansas City, and the Chargers.
I was gonna say, if anybody's watching or listening to this and playing IDPs, Chandler Jones is much higher on our board than he is anywhere else, so he's going to be someone to go ahead and focus on. And sometimes you have to project a breakout, but Chandler Jones has given us lots of big number seasons, so you're just betting that he's going to be healthy and that he's not going to stink. And I think that's a good.
Well, I don't think he's going to stink.
Yeah, exactly,
but.
We have two teams now that don't have a tight end. It looks like, right?
Yeah. My gosh, I just noticed that.
Yep.
So the Josh Allen team has no tight end. We've got the team that's on the clock right now for 2 picks at the turn with no tight end. Got to figure that's probably going to change here. Although, depends on what they think of who's remaining on the board. I took Evan Ingram as tight end 13. I know that's a lot earlier than most people have him, but it's right where he belongs for me. Gerald Everett went after that a few picks later. Then Hunter Henry and David Njoku, as we were speaking, went to one of those 2 remaining tight endless teams. And I think it's good value on David Njoku. I think 11 games without Deshaun Watson hurts him some, where I easily like Evan Ingram better than Njoku now in a reception rewarding system like this, but there's certainly upside to Njoku from a tight end 16 starting point.
Yeah, I'm less excited about him, but it's just he still goes so late that he's still definitely part of my draft plan. If I can get him at tight end 16, you can get him at tight end 20 a lot of times. I just betting on the talent and betting on the fact that the Browns just invested so much in him.
Mm-hmm.
And Watson playing in the money weeks,
Yeah, true. Yep. It's late for Irv Smith.
Yeah, they're probably really happy with the way that turned out.
Yeah.
Not fading tight end and then getting, he gets the Mahomes Juju stack, which I really like. And then he gets two tight ends he can stream. Tight end is hard to stream though. I mean, just like based on matchups. How sticky, you guys are probably way more in tune to this. How sticky are those like strength of schedule tight end stuff in season? Is that pretty like sticky, or like I know pass funnel, run funnel is stickier for receivers and running backs, but how easy is it to stream tight end there?
I don't think it tends to be all that sticky because it's just so touchdown driven. And I mean, a guy can have the 2 guys can have the exact same game, and if one scores on his 4 catches for 70 yards and the other doesn't, then one guy's a stud and the other is not.
I don't remember who did the research, but I remember reading something where just starting a tight end based on his team's implied points is it's better than looking at the strength of schedule number, how that defense is done in fantasy points allowed to tight end. So that just speaks to the touchdowns. You want to stream tight ends that have a better chance to score a touchdown, which is kind of baked into the implied point total for that team.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. By the way, the other team that had not taken a tight end yet just took Isaiah
Likely.
I think that's Hubbard. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I think
it's
Hubbard
the Diggs
was
team,
likely. Right? Yeah.
Wow.
Holy mackerel.
Wow.
I don't like it personally. I like it because it's in the league, but
yeah. He took him over. Mike Gesicki is still out there, right? Noah Fant is still out there. Hayden Hurst.
Tyler Higbee, right? Yep.
Tyler Higbee. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Pretty wild.
I like it as a pick because I'm competing against the team that took Isaiah Likely as its top tight end in a tight end premium format. But I think Isaiah Likely is getting too much run right now. Too much steam is the word, right, Adam?
Way too much steam.
He's getting steam.
100 yards in 1/2. I don't know.
Amazing.
It's good.
In a fake game. For the only team in the league that cares about winning fake games.
That's right.
The Bills have won like 9 in a row. Are you kidding
me?
They
don't care. They just can't help but win.
That's right. Thank you.
It's like by accident. They're like, oh, we got the ball. I guess we'll score.
I guess we'll score.
Oh, Paris Campbell was still out there. I missed that. That would have been nice.
All right, is Jarvis Landry a solid pick here? We got Robbie Anderson on the board. It's probably a wide receiver, but
the name I was thinking for you was KJ Osborne, but I do like
I like
Landry
Osborne
and Anderson too.
Especially for your team, man. I kind of like
I
Osborne.
don't mind handcuffing a wide receiver right there.
I think Osborne played pretty well last year. They're going to go more 3 receiver sets, so I think he's got that standalone. And then
14,
if they really are going to throw more and Thielen gets hurt,
now you are on the clock.
Do I take him or see if he makes it around the turn though?
Oh, are you not going wide out here? What else? What other position are you?
Oh, but I mean, even if I do go, whatever, I'll just take him. It's kind of
I would just take because I mean McKenzie went at the 12-2 for gosh sakes. Like everyone's flying up the board. Alec Pierce went in the 11th.
I would consider Higbee at this next pick.
You think so? Is third tight end?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't hate
Higbee. Higbee could outscore Freiermuth and Ingram this season. I would not be sure.
I do already have 6 wide receivers. It's not like I need to fill 2 or 3 likely.
3, spots. Right? Yeah, you're not.
I would guess we have Higbee projected for more points in this format than any of the wideouts left. Well, tell me I'm wrong, but
got. Let me do that. Get past the quarterbacks. Yep. Higbee is the highest projected non-quarterback remaining on the board right now.
God, the guy's locked in. It's almost like he does this for a living.
Jared, why didn't you say that before I drafted KJ Osborne? Though?
No, Osborne's good. You needed Osborne. These guys got 2 tight ends. They're not gonna do it.
Yeah, but so do I. Let's see. I want to see where Higbee's going in these drafts because I agree that he's been underrated. I think he's actually.
Oh, this guy's got Stafford though.
Through draft season.
Draft Sharks member Stafford. Oh no.
I can tell you that Higbee's not near the top of my draft war room board right now. So
okay, all right. I'm just wetting my whistle for this potathon tomorrow. Just 6 hours of unadulterated drafting. I still have to figure out.
Are you like bringing like a pizza down with you? What's the?
I don't know what I should just do that. I'm gonna have to jump off for a pee break or 2. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah.
You are up next.
Hey, you're doing well if you only need 2 of them during 6 hours. I would do more than that.
I still got to see if StreamYard will do 6 straight hours if I got to do 3 2-hour shows. Which I'm fine with because I just like a lot of those football guys go like an hour and a half. Like what the heck are we going to talk about for a half an hour in between drafts? So it might be 3 hour 45-minute streams.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Are you on tomorrow, Jared? Or no?
You are on the
Matt.
clock.
Matt's on tomorrow.
I think it's Matt, right?
Yeah.
I'm drafting at 11 p.m. So I guess I better not stay up till 1 tonight. Tyler Higbee's there for us.
Do it.
Yeah, it feels right.
It feels right. Instincts, vibes.
I mean, you're good at tight end. Now it's just picking the right one every week.
Yeah,
that's what it's going to come down to.
Or just having, hopefully, by a couple weeks in, they've already established themselves as
right.
Yeah, so we got 4 running backs, 6 wideouts, quarterback, 3 tight ends now. Need a kicker and defense, and then still got 4 picks to play with. I think there's room for a second quarterback still because I don't care about the 99th receiver off the board.
Don't blame you there.
Are there any interesting names at wide receiver left? Is Van Jefferson still?
Yeah, nobody wants to draft Van Jefferson right now. He'll probably wind up on my team.
Is he playing week 1?
He's going to miss 1 game.
Yeah,
maybe.
I was going to say I don't think he's even a lock to miss 1.
Right.
You know what I like to do late is take, like with my last pick, take a Ram or a Bill because you get that free look. Like I don't care who, even if it's OJ Howard. I mean, maybe not for your team, but like if Knox goes down week 1, Khalil Shakir. Yeah. Like if he scores a random touchdown or if OJ Howard has a long touchdown, like you can start him. Because you can wait.
Zach Moss is a guy I've been taking late. At this
Another one,
anyways.
If Singletary or somebody goes down the first week, you don't have to,
Yep.
Yeah, and then if not, you just cut them.
Yeah, it's a good point for the format because that's not something I would normally think about because most leagues you don't get to put somebody in a starting lineup after they've played. But in this format where every week is important because we're trying to make the playoff tournament, that's definitely worth considering. And I think Zach Moss is certainly a name that I'll be thinking about as we approach those last few picks. Because I agree. I mean, Zach Moss was always a player in best ball drafts that I was like, maybe I'll mix in a Zach Moss here or there just in case something happens. And it sounds like something's happening, not like he's tearing it up, but Sean McDermott apparently said that he's had the most consistent camp among the running backs and has been faring well in the short yardage situation. So decent guy to stash down there.
Yeah. And then
you might want to take him soon, honestly.
Yeah, we just had Mike Davis go off the board.
Exactly. And even a good Tyler Higbee point there. If I would have thought about that even before, I would have been like Higbee. If he goes off for a touchdown or two opening night, bang, you're starting him.
Yeah. Yep.
That's where we bring you in, you FFPC veteran.
I know. Come on, I waited till round 14 to break that out.
And there are some unsexy names at wide receiver if you're interested, Matt.
If you're interested,
Marvin Jones.
Nah.
Corey Davis. Kenny Galladay still out there.
I think Robbie Anderson's going to end up on my team.
Yeah, of course he is.
Of course he is.
Hey, if you can get a mentally unstable guy who produces inconsistently, you do it.
That's right. Look at Mike Gesicki falling.
He should fall.
Deserves it, yeah.
He deserves it. He deserves to fall.
I don't mean on a personal level. I mean with what they're doing with him.
Of course not.
It couldn't happen to a better volleyball player. You still have Kirk Cousins out there, by the way, now that I'm invested in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence still on the board for that.
Who does Cousins play week 9? We gotta look that up.
Oh yeah, let me go back to the schedule grid.
That's right.
Week 9, we've got Minnesota at Washington. That's less attractive than home against the Raiders. Mm-hmm. But let's see.
But still not terrible.
Minnesota's also at Green Bay in week 17, but they're home against the Giants and Colts the 2 weeks before that, 15-16.
Interesting.
But Russell Wilson is at the Rams and at the Chiefs those 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're starting Russ.
I'm just telling you, we're in Kyle Phillips range right now. Just throwing that out there.
It's definitely, there's a non-zero chance that I'll take Kyle Phillips before this draft is over.
You better, for all the Kyle Phillips talk I've heard.
At this point, I'm mostly bringing him up because every time I do, it makes you roll your eyes.
Jared, this is where you're supposed to say Kyle Phillips wouldn't start for my church league flag football team.
He's just the wrong. I got something better for you. He's just the wrong archetype. I don't like the archetype.
There's nothing wrong with the archetype. Just maybe in that with that offense.
Yes,
he could have gone somewhere better, but the other part of that is they stink at wide receiver, so that gives him more immediate opportunity. They might get in a better landing spot.
And Will Fuller, we've decided is officially dead.
Doesn't sound good, and it's
doesn't
August
love football.
24th.
Doesn't love football.
Yeah, the fact that he hasn't gotten signed anywhere yet certainly doesn't speak well to the upside on him as a player at this point.
There hasn't even been this team's interested in Will Fuller. Will Fuller is visiting this team.
Is Jarvis Landry at wide receiver 72 too late? It feels too late to me.
I think
it's too late.
I think it's fine there. Yeah, totally.
He should be going earlier than that.
I'm going to put Christian Watson in the queue and consider him late, although he's probably going before I'll get to him.
That's a good one. I've never, said anything positive about Christian Watson, but at this point, that's a good pick.
What about Justin Watson? Is he draftable?
Yeah, he's a chief. I mean,
he'd be more of a best ball guy for me because I can't see Justin Watson making it into a starting lineup.
You are up next.
Oh, another guy.
If he's one of their top 3 receivers at some point this season.
In the Zach Moss mold, that kind of like Kyron Williams for that week 1 cheap look. He's not going to do anything, but if one of those guys goes down, you get a free.
He didn't have that foot fracture that he was coming back from. I'd be a little bit more interested.
The old fracture.
I like Zach Moss here for you. You've been talking about him so much. You don't want to miss out on him now.
Where is he?
I don't think he's on anybody's board yet, though. And Robbie Anderson.
I'm looking. I don't even see him.
We got the first team defense off the board. It's what, RB63. Who else do we have still on the board at running back?
Sony Michel's still out there.
Ugly stuff.
Yeah, Michel's still out there.
Yeah.
Matt's boy Rex Burkhead. Is he still
hanging around? Chris Evans. Chris Evans is still out there.
Moss might not be terrible.
I think I might take Sony Michel here, though.
Or that.
15
Sony
seconds
Michel,
left.
Robbie Anderson. Yeah, we'll take Sony Michel.
Anderson's like, he's just what's he gonna do for you? I don't know.
I don't know either, but it was just.
I like him as a best ball. I like him as a best ball guy, but
he was just a couple seasons ago. He was a top 24 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Robbie.
He fits the unsexy upside value narrative that I'm writing for myself.
I'm not out on Greg Dulcich either. I know he's been hurt and he's not going to make an impact early on, but
listen, Matt's got three tight ends. If he's
but
taking a fourth, it's OJ Howard for that free week 1 look.
Is OJ Howard going to be on the Bills roster for week 1?
Oh, come on. He scored in the preseason game. What do you mean?
in like the fourth quarter, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't he the third tight end in that game?
Maybe.
With Dawson Knox not there.
Was he?
I believe so.
Oh boy. Never mind.
Maybe Tommy Sweeney's the guy I should be picking up.
Maybe Jamison Crowder's the guy you should be picking up here.
There we go. Trevor Lawrence is gone. Maybe I should have done that.
You are up next.
I'd be fine just rolling with Wilson. I mean, Justin Fields is still out there if you want a second, but
yeah, I mean, obviously I didn't consider him a must because I didn't strongly consider him at that turn. I missed Kirk Cousins leaving the board. That was earlier in that round.
Yeah.
The second quarterback for the Trey Lance team. 7 rounds later, so obviously that team's not too worried about backing up Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing with these drafts. I mean, you can always wait until this area of the draft and get someone who at least can give you a baseline production if your quarterback one goes down.
Mm-hmm. And by week 9, there's probably going to be somebody dropping a second quarterback if they drafted one.
Sure.
Now you are on the clock.
Like what Adam was that our league last year? We dropped Joe Burrow and he ended up. Or we didn't drop him, but he was dropped in that league.
He was dropped in that league. We didn't pick him up because we were waiting on freaking Fields to come around.
Yeah.
We just softballs right down the middle of the champs. Unbelievable.
Robbie Anderson for me.
Robbie.
Wide receiver 77. He's never finished lower than wide receiver, 63, I think, was his low point as a rookie. Last year when he sucked, he was wide receiver 50. The year before that, he was top 24 guy.
Terrace Marshall's, no signs of life from him. They're talking about Rashad Higgins being the, I mean, it's there for Robbie to be the number 2 there still.
Yeah, instead of playing like number 2.
Colin Johnson.
Zach Moss is in my queue. We'll see about next turn. Justin Fields is a consideration. That week 9 Russell Wilson bye. He's home for who was it? Miami. Home for Miami in week 9. So not an awesome matchup, but a home game.
That game's got 17-13 written all over it.
As long as he's running for 63 yards, I'm good. But yeah, I'm not locked into taking a second quarterback. Tua's still out there. He obviously would have the other side of that Chicago matchup that week. But plenty of other lower end quarterbacks.
Chris Evans, I like that pick there. I mean, he's had 2 plays this preseason. One was a run that got called back by a hold, and the other one was a kick return. But man, he's explosive. Which we knew that the testing was off the charts with him. But I know he's probably still 3rd on the depth chart. But like if Mixon went down, I think they'd find a way to get Evans plenty of touches.
Agreed.
Dulcich off the board, tight end
Dulcich, yep.
28, third tight end for Gerald Everett, Robert Tonyan team. Man, that Isaiah Likely team also got Brevin Jordan, third tight end. Another guy I don't buy into.
Man, Adam, can you get Hubbard on stream? I want to hear about the Likely pick.
I want to confirm that it's Hubbard, but once I do, I mean, that's the info I got, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll talk to him. I mean, you could post the board. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to. That's what I love about Hub. He'll be more than happy to talk about it right on Twitter. But how bad of a quarterback do you have to be to have weapons like Tua's got and just not get drafted? I mean, you got to be really
He probably
bad.
should be getting drafted, man.
You got to be really bad.
We got 17 quarterbacks off the board with Justin Fields going just now.
Yep.
I think Tua's going to stick it to you a little bit this year, Adam.
No way.
I
Not to
think
me.
he's a good year.
And not to me and not to the Bills. I'll tell you that much.
Adam, if you start with a bully tight end build, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews at the first 2 picks, are you taking any more tight ends before the end of the draft?
No, especially not Hayden Hurst. Especially not Hayden Hurst. I mean, again, you can't have a rip on a 16th round pick, but come on. What are we doing?
You start all 3 of them.
That's true. And hey, the year I came in the top 5, I started 3 and during the playoffs, but I don't see him starting Hurst. Him or her. Although
CJ Uzomah was a
thing
at times last year.
Yeah, but you never started him because it was random. It was, every other week for like.
That's how it is with every tight end beyond the top.
But wasn't it like week? Yeah. But I'm saying like a ton of his points came in like 2 weeks. Like most of his points came in 2 weeks. So
he had a couple long touchdowns.
And they were all on prime time. I feel like that's why everyone saw it. It was like crazy. They didn't have a game winner like in Baltimore or something. I don't know.
How are we treating Deshaun Watson in these drafts?
That's good. I mean, it's just, do you want to sit on him for 11 weeks?
Right. He's somebody I would be more interested in if I didn't have a top 10 quarterback. I don't know exactly what my cutoff would be there, but his ADP right now is 20.9. So he's obviously not getting drafted in all drafts in the main event.
He's interesting because he could be a differentiator if you do make it to the 3-week sprint. There's probably not going to be a ton of teams with Watson at that point. Still alive, so if he does have 2 or 3 big games in weeks 15, 16, 17, he could really kind of set you apart.
Mm-hmm. And he's a guy that, like, if I had a quarterback that had a bye after he was back, I would be more interested. With you, you're still gonna have to pick somebody up for a week or 2 or 3.
Yeah. There's Tua.
There goes your boy.
There he goes.
The Kyler Murray team.
A naked Tua. They took Tua with no Dolphins.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Naked as the day he was born. We also had Taysom Hill go earlier in this round, tight end 29 to the supposed Hubbard team. Isaiah Likely, Brevin Jordan, Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill will be interesting. Anybody who drafts him at this point is like, please let Taysom Hill start at quarterback at some point this year.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's probably. I mean, where do you think he is as a straight up tight end? You think he's their tight end too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Adam Troutman's buried there. He's playing behind Juwan Johnson in the preseason. So Johnson.
Interesting.
What do you guys think? Zach Moss time here?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Got 3 turns left to get my defense and my kicker. That probably means
my guy Brian Edwards still getting drafted.
Brian Edwards. That's the first time I've heard his name this entire preseason.
It's been quiet
since he got traded or cut.
He's making the team though, right? I mean, because they cut.
Who knows? Tate. And that could be a sneaky good offense.
It is a sneaky good offense, but no, it's a sneaky good offense for those 3 players, not for Brian. They're good because Brian Edwards is on the team. That's why it's sneaky good.
Maybe he'll sneak up on that offense too. So Zach Moss, RB70. We'll see. Now I just need a 2-touchdown game from him in week 1, and he has more than paid off his arrival.
It's like honestly possible. Like if he's their goal line back,
I
know like Allen's going to steal some of that stuff too. But like if he's their goal line back, he could have some 2-touchdown games this season.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it last year he was inactive in week 1, and then in week 2 he scored twice against Miami?
I think
that's when they smoked Miami
against
right?
Miami. Yeah.
Yep.
It would be really, really sweet, and the timing would be amazing if it was week 1, because then you could start him without having to. Because you're never, with this roster you got, you're never going to start him unless there's injuries or bye weeks or whatever.
Yeah,
outside of week 1.
Yeah, well, thank you for the tip on that, because it's certainly not something that I would have thought of.
Do it
now. So now I just hope that he either has a big game or nothing. I hope he doesn't have a week where it's like 48 yards and a touchdown.
Right, because then you don't know what to do. I know.
I either want 2 touchdowns or
48 and a touchdown. I'm probably starting him.
Yeah, and my second flex over Thielen.
Yeah, probably going over a receiver there. All right, so we got a few more picks. I have 3. I need a kicker and a defense. I might just go ahead for quarterback here. Let me see what else is a wide receiver before I decide that. Corey Davis, is he not? He still hasn't been picked.
Corey Davis is still there.
Wow.
Corey Davis and Van Jefferson still out there.
I like Van Jefferson.
Yeah, if you're deciding between the two, free look on Van if he plays week 1, if he's alive.
That's true.
And the Bills secondary might be a problem week 1. I mean, I don't think Trey White's playing, and you might have like 2 rookies starting. A 6th or 7th rounder who's been really good this preseason, but that could be an absolute shootout.
Now,
Donovan Peoples-Jones is still out there too.
Yeah,
I'm obviously much less excited with Brissett for the first 11 games, but
he's a best ball guy for me. I would have a hard time imagining myself starting him.
Well, I mean, you're not going to feel comfortable starting any of these wideouts without stuff
I
happening.
don't see the path for him getting to where I start him, where I can see that path for Van Jefferson, who I will go ahead and select in round 18.
Yeah, I like that pick.
Yeah, coming off a knee injury, I'm not betting on a week 1 for him, but he's obviously an injury to either Allen Robinson or Cooper Kupp away from, potentially being startable.
Yeah, he could be a guy that's useful, during the 6-team bye weeks. If he's locked in as their 3rd guy still, which I think he's going to be, he could be useful. He could be somebody you start even with Kupp and A-Rob healthy.
Mm-hmm. And if anything bad happens, then he's easy to cut.
Yep.
I am anticipating the Browns being my defense at some point in this. I'll probably go ahead and take them in round 19 and save kicker for the last round.
Browns open with who? I know they got a good schedule, right?
Let me get to it to make sure I get it right. But they're at Carolina, then home for the Jets, home for Pittsburgh, at Atlanta.
Nice.
So I probably can get 4 starts out of them before they run into the Chargers in week 5, home game against the Chargers. Probably won't want to start them there, but I got 4 weeks to, get the replacement. And then after that, a home game against the Patriots. So I might want to keep the Browns and start them for that one.
What about the Ravens? I feel like the Ravens have a nice start too.
Yeah, they get the Jets. Yep.
Jets and then home for Miami at New England. So 2 weeks, I think.
I've had Matt's team defense strategy guide pulled up for all these lineup setting drafts I've been doing lately.
You got to.
And that's, we do all these projections and rankings, but for team defense in particular, that's one where I'm not really looking at it. I look for the teams that start out with nice opening schedules, and I take one of those.
I mean, the Bills defense, went 15th round. Do you want to start them week 1 on the road at the Rams? I wouldn't.
No, not with the secondary and the way that it is right now, but for sure. And here's the thing with FFPC, the scoring, unless your defense scores a touchdown, it almost doesn't even matter. So it's like, I don't even really care too much about defense in the FFPC.
Right. And the Bucks, they didn't go off yet. They're a highly ranked defense, but I don't bother diving into them because they have a rough start too.
Right. Yep.
All right, boys. We probably don't need to stick around to do round 19 and 20 when I already know I'm taking a defense and a kicker, right?
Thank God.
I guess not.
I think I can let you guys free for the end of this draft and close things out. I appreciate you guys riding with me through this, though, because there were definitely turns where you pointed out some stuff to me that I might not have thought of by myself.
Love it. That's what we're here for.
That's right. Let's hope. We still got Adam. You still have drafts coming up, right? Jared, you got yours on Sunday.
God.
Mine is Sunday. Yeah, I don't know. Am I supposed to be on stream for that? I like to lock myself away by myself when I'm drafting, but I don't know what the plan is.
Somebody will be on. I'll be talking about it. We'll see exactly who's. I think Adam is basically on stream from 7 p.m. tomorrow until October. So
The Truman Show for Adam.
The Truman Show. Yeah, I'm on stream 6 hours tomorrow, and then I leave Friday for Kentucky for the Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship. Farrell Elliott over there. Chad Schroeder will be there. Scott will be there. Jay Reed will be a bunch of high stakes guys. Scott and Jay Reed and all those death dealers will be there. So that'll be a really fun weekend. And then I think I have like a main event draft every day for the next 2 weeks after that. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. That sounds like that sounds like heaven, honestly. I love doing this stuff. That's why we do all this. It's not just because we're like,
Right.
oh, I like numbers. I want to help people win. Certainly want to help people win, but it's because we love drafting. At least that's why I'm here.
That's right.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks to you guys for riding with me. Thanks to everybody who's watching and listening for riding with us through this. Head to draftsharks.com, set up your own draft war rooms for your drafts, whether they're high stakes or medium stakes or no stakes. If you're just playing for fun, we can help you beat whoever you're competing against. For Jared Smola, for Adam Krautwurst, for the entire Draft Sharks crew, I'm Matt Schaff saying thanks so much for swimming with us.